Dear Polaris users all over Europe, I'm happy to show you everything you need to know about members in the Polaris environment in a webinar today. I'm going to do this in our demo system, which doesn't show real people or existing Rotary clubs. Everything was made by artificial intelligence. A Rotary Club's website, like this one from the Rotary Club Steinbrück, displays information that is generally accessible to people who are not logged in. In this specific case, even without logging in, we can see the articles published by the club or the district. As an example, I click on this article, which shows the visitors of this website, the club visit of the city gallery. So everyone that enters this website can see this. For visitors, we have also a reduced menu bar here, and over the chapter The Club and Meetings, I get to the point where I can see the club restaurant and the day and the time of the regular meetings. The same information I can get when I scroll down on the entry page, and down here we have the same information about the restaurant and the meeting schedule, together with a route description by Google Maps. If I click now on Imprint, I get additional information about the club and a few club officials with their contact information. This setup is done individually by each club according to its needs. So we have seen that people without access rights to Polaris can get valuable information about the club. However, it is not possible to see the addresses or other personal data of the club members. If I click on the magnifying glass next to the language settings, a window opens where public content of the club can be searched. I make an example with the word tennis, and we can find a tennis charity tournament of the club. I now log in as a club member without any administrator rights. I need for this the email address that I'm registered with at Rotary and the password. If I have forgotten my password, I can click here and enter the registered email address, and let me send a password reset link and reset my password. Now I log in as this member of the club, and as soon as I'm logged in, I can see all the events and articles that have been shared only with the club members, like this here in the slider. I can click now on the magnifying glass again, and I see I have many more options, and especially I can search members. Here, as long as the member is in the same instance, it can be in another district, I will find this person, like this example. If I want to look at the members of my own club, of this club here, I click on the member button, and all the members of the club can be seen here. Even prospects or other contacts. With an easy click on an icon, I can show them. In addition, even without special rights, every user can export some 2 PDF files, membership documents, a member book and a member leaflet. In the menu bar membership board, I can see the current board, and this can be adapted the year, even in the future, and the past, the board can be shown here. But this provides the positions have already been filled and registered by the secretary, if I want to see in the future. In the menu bar, I click now on My Settings, and a QR code appears. That can be used, for example, to record a presence if the responsible in the club is scanning it from my smartphone. It is also possible to modify the password here by entering the current password, the new password, and this has to be repeated, and so we can change easily our password. Okay, I go now to the menu point, change my data. And I entering to the area where I can see all my personal entries. Those marked with a red star are mandatory fields, and where RI is standing behind the field means that this field is synchronized with Rotary International. When I go further down in the private contact information, I see some additional click boxes like this here, and we see if I click here and save, it means that my email address or the email address of this person is only shown to club members and no more to anybody else in the multi-district. Polaris makes it really easy for members to edit their own data and upload profile pictures themselves. Members are responsible for their own personal data, and they should keep it up to date. In the parameters here, I can select which kind of newsletter I want to receive. And we really recommend that at the minimum, you should select club and district to ensure a minimum exchange of information. Going back to the menu bar, the last point here is my presence. I can check my presence. I choose now a period from the 1st December to today, and I filter, and immediately I can see the events where I was registered. However, the actuality of this page depends on the person in the club who is responsible for recording attendance. Everything that I have shown so far, every Rotarian in the club can do it without logging in. When he logs in, yes, the Rotarian must be logged in, but then he can do everything what I have shown so far. For the next chapter, the recipient list, however, it's no longer possible. All functions related to membership administration are reserved for those Rotarians who have corresponding rights in Polaris. I am such a Rotarian, and I log now in to the admin area with my credentials. I have to log out first from the club member, put my own credentials in, and can log in here. And when I go now to the tree of this menu bar, I see additionally Polaris admin. So I get to the admin section. And all administrators that take care about something that has something to do with membership, they have a two-step identification. So I get a PIN code on my email and I have to validate it to enter in this part of the Polaris program. Now I go to the member management and to the members, and I search the secretary of the Rotary Club Steinbruck. And we see here he must have the role unit admin all rights, as it's shown here. Otherwise, the following manipulation he cannot do. So I log in as this person, secretary of the Rotary Club of Steinbruck, for the following presentation. The opportunity to network with other Rotarians inside and outside the club is a central concern of Rotary. That's why we need a tool that allows us to create recipient lists among the Rotarian community within our club, our district, or even our multi-district, according to the search criteria we want. In the menu area Utility, I select Member List. And the window opens with multiple options to search the members of this Rotary Club, the Rotary Club Steinbruck only. And it is even possible to export the members of this club as an Excel sheet, as a label, or also the QR codes can be exported. The standard of this list is, as I told you, you can only select the own club and the active members and the current program year. This is set. And so we see the result of this search are all the members of this club. Now, to make an example of a simple query, I choose now the role. I want to know who in the club has all rights unit admin. I search this, and the result is 3 persons have this role. Means they can do what I'm doing now. Now I can also make a search about Polaris fellows in my club. I search again. I get only 1 person because I did a mistake. I did not deselect the unit admin. So only 1 person has all admin rights and at the same time is a Polaris fellow. So if I search again now, I see there are more people in this club that have Polaris fellows. Now I go to the recipient groups, and we see that Polaris offers a whole range of dynamic lists that are always up to date. Dynamic means they are always updated. If some changes are done, it's always there. And with a click on the person icon, I can see who is in that recipient group. I have here another contact. So we should mainly use dynamic lists, no more static lists. because people are changing a lot their email addresses or other data. So we have always the correct information in our lists. However, a static list is still possible to make, and I show you now an example how this can be done. I click on Create, choose the language, English here, and I want to make a list of seniors with the age of 80, between 80 and 90 in the multi-districts. Now I click on Add Multiple Members, and again the same windows open, but this time I can search not only in my club, I can take the whole multi-district, including all the clubs that belong to this district. But as you see, it's no more possible to export this data. So what I want to search in this, I want to search the active members. And as I told you, between 80 and 90 years old. So I write between the date and I search. So after a short time, all members in the district that are in that age group appear. And if I click to add to the list, Polaris is putting them here to this recipient group list. That takes some time, but I can explain you in the meanwhile that once this list is completed, I can search for other members and add them also to the list. So it's not only one search we can do, it's very practical for different uses. This recipient list is static. It can be used, for example, for this event that I was describing with old people that have to be remembered to the event. Then I can very good use this list. Once it's set, like now, I can still remove some people like this person easily. And then this list is complete. Let's have a look how it looks like. Here we have all the dynamic lists, and this is the list that I just did. Now I can show you a nice example how we can use this also in our club life. The idea of this club is to make an event together with another Rotary club. It is an invitation to a lecture, Artificial Intelligence in Agriculture. The president of this Rotary club has already prepared the newsletter addressing all members of the Rotary Club Steinbrock and Bad Lilienbach. And now we finalize this newsletter. First, we take the event that we want to have together with the other Rotary Club. It's this one, Artificial Intelligence in Agriculture. Okay. And now I go to the recipients. First, I choose all active members of the club of the own unit, that means of the Rotary Club Steinbrock, and also the guest members we invite. We save, and this members has come from a dynamic list. Now we want to add the members of the club in the neighborhood. It's the Rotary Club Bad Lilienbach. And we want to add all the active members of this club. I search again, and they're already here. Like before, I add the results to the list, which will take some time again. In the meanwhile, I go to preview and have a look how it looks like. This is the invitation and the event we want to invite all. And the secretary of this Rotary Club can send a test email to himself to see if everything is working fine. I go back to the recipients, and in the meanwhile, all these people from the friendly Rotary Club are here. And again, I can delete some of them if I don't want them to invite. Last point is the dispatch. It's very easy now. I can just change from draft to ready to send and either choose a date when it is set for sending, or I click here just right now and save, and this newsletter will be sent not immediately when the email server is ready. Rotary has currently 1.4 million active members who are registered in Rotary International's database with their name, with their email address, and the Rotary ID. When accepting new members, it's therefore essential to ensure that there are no duplicates. I will demonstrate how Polaris elegantly solves this problem in the following. In the member management, we want to add a new member. I click on Add, and now I search for a person that wants to become a Rotarian in our club. Name is Christian Beck. So the first thing I have to do, I have to search after this name. And now we can see there are a lot of people that have similar names or even same names, but none of them is the person that I want to make a new member in my club. This is the solution to prevent duplicates. Okay, I want to create a new individual. And now a window is open and it tells me, gives me the possibility to add this person as a member, as a prospect, or as another contact. In this case, we really want to have him as a member, and I click here. So the name is already there. And now I have to fill all the fields that are marked red. The birthday is even not mandatory, but it's a fantastic information. The Rotary Club, so I add it. Here we come to the start of the affiliation. And it's important to know that it has to be between today and 30 days in the past. It cannot be in the future. So let's take the Monday of this week. Okay, we go down. This person speaks English. Has to be selected. And we come to the fields that are again mandatory. This is already default. We can leave it, but we have to choose private or professional address. I put in the private address and add the address of this person. The zip code and the name of the city. Choose the country. It is Switzerland, and this is not mandatory. I go to the email address. Again, I choose private or professional email address, and I add his email address. The last point is the mobile or fixed. I take the private mobile number, and we have already the Swiss pre-selection, so I just add what is missing. So this is all we have to fill in, and when I save, this data is immediately exchanged with Rotary International, just straight away. Therefore, please ensure that all the details have been entered correctly before clicking on Save. In this case, I have done it, so I can save. After the secretary has entered all these mandatory dates, the member can and should fill in all other fields himself and upload here a portrait picture. So we have showed this earlier, how this is possible. And like this, the new member will learn how to manage Polaris and his own data in the program. But so that he can do something in Polaris, we need to activate his user account. That's what I'm doing now. I click here on Has User Account, and we see his role is automatically website user. That is the same role the first person I was logging in had. No admin function, but however, a lot of things we can do in the program. The moment I click on this, the person gets an email and can reset his password. But we have other options. We can here send him active a password reset, or when we add here, we can even give him a password and send it. So he can log in the first time without doing anything. Okay. Now I go back to the members, and I want to show you, once you are a member, what can be done then, how can you change your status. That's why I'm clicking here, change status. I have the following options. I can assign or remove a honorary membership here. And if someone wants to leave the club and no more be a Rotarian, I can terminate the member affiliation by just putting in the date, and I have to choose one of these reasons that we know why the people left Rotary. And there was a third option also. If people are passing away, use this option and they are still registered as people that have died in our club. When I go now to the other contacts, we have one other contact in this club, and go to the same field. I have the same options, but I have one more. I can promote this person to a member in our club. A guest cannot do that because all guests members are already Rotarians, but other contacts can promote to a member. So Now I want to show you how I can transfer a member from another Rotary Club within the same instance. And that is nowadays very easy because we have the chance to actively from this club search for a person that we want to have in our club. It's again the same thing. I add and create a member. And I have to search this person. But in this case, I know who is this person, and I know also in which Rotary Club she is. In our case, name is Andrea. Sorry for. And I search by name. Okay, we found it. It is a member that for the moment is at the Rotary Club Bad Lilienbach, and we would like to have her in our club. So I can choose her. At this point, I have also to tell you that you can also add as member people from abroad, like this person, because here, when you look, member is terminated. So this person has left the Rotary Club. From that moment on, we can also add her as a member in our club. But in all other options, all active members, it is not possible. It's only possible for active members within our own instance, like Andrea Gross, the Rotary Club Bad Lilienbach. So I click on the person icon, and I have two options. And I can add her as a guest, but in this case, I want that she gets member in our club. So I request the transfer to our club. I set the date, should be even today, and I get a message to the other secretary. I save, and with this manipulation, the other club gets a message that we want to have this person in our club. That's why now I exit as the secretary of the Rotary Club Steinbrück, and I change now to the Rotary Club Bad Lilienbach. And immediately you see there is a red flag here. Now to manipulate all these member things here in this club, again, I log in as the secretary of this club, Bad Lilienbach. Again, I see he has all unit admin rights. So I log in as this person, and I go to this member. I change the language. We go again to the member management, and here this is member transfer. We choose it, and we see Andrea Gross is here. I have to click on the action, and the only thing I have to do, I have to accept the transfer and save. So this is really easy. And you see, she was Bad Linienbach, and now she is in the Rotary Club Steinbrück. Very easy. Now, the last example I want to show you is I can add people from other continents as guests. Therefore, I type in the name of a friend in Africa that is allowing me to use his name for this demonstration. You see, he's member at the Rotary Club Harare Central, and I can add him as a guest to this club. When I add him as a guest, I can also allow him to see the newsletter, to register for events, and maybe to a later point when he is in our own instance, I can promote him as a member. So this is everything about members, and you should be able now to handle this kind of manipulations easily. Thank you very much.